I'm DaJuan Johnson. Welcome to the Think Bigger Actors podcast, where I share with you different kinds of talks and coachings and conversations with actors and industry professionals on thinking bigger. I hope these conversations will help you on your path to success, because I believe success is an inside job that starts with your mindset and the thoughts you hold dominant in your mind. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Your path to thinking bigger begins now. Welcome to the Think Bigger Actors podcast. I'm your host, DaJuan Johnson, and it is still Pride Month. Happy Pride, happy Pride. And today we've got a special guest, Tony Rodriguez, a friend from back in my university days and the voice of the Simpsons' first gay Cuban character. This is such a good episode, y'all. I mean, this is such a good episode. I wish I had like some like flags to like wave, but then you couldn't see it because then this is a podcast and it's audio. So we're going to like not just imagine that I am doing a flag waving and there are, anthems playing and stuff like that for Pride Month. But I'm telling you, this episode is so good. And you're going to want to lean in and listen to how he booked this part. It's going to be so great. It's going to be so great. But first, every week I sit in this seat and I tell myself, don't let this become a political podcast, DaJuan. And every week this country makes me feel almost like that's almost impossible. That's almost impossible to do, because here's the truth. I can't just ignore what's happening here. I just can't ignore what's happening in the United States right now. But right now, while I'm recording this intro to this podcast, here in LA, we're in the middle of civil unrest. There's immigration raids, there's protests, there's fear, and a lot of actors, this is why it's important to me, a lot of actors. Well, it's important to me because of the raids, and I have family members that are, that are Latin, and it's important to me for a lot of reasons. But I would just say, bringing it back to the actor community here, because a lot of actors are thinking like, how does any of this matter? Putting business as usual, like a self-tape in there, or doing an audition and stuff like that. Like the world feels like it's burning, and here we are. We have to go to set, or we get to go to set. And I get that. I feel that. But here's what I also believe. Here's what I also want to say. Art is medicine. Art is the message. Art is the magic. And as artists, we've always been the dissension in the room, the ones who challenge the narrative, who tell the truth, who hold up the mirror, especially when others want to stay silent. It's always been art. And you could get away with it. And the reason creativity gets policed so hard by those in power is because it threatens control. Because creativity offers freedom. It offers perspective. It shifts the culture. And culture, more than politics, it's so important, shapes how we see the world. When I went to Colorado State University is 45 minutes north of Denver. It's in Fort Collins, the city of Fort Collins. And I remember when I went there, I met a person who said, I have never met a black person in person. I've never met a black person. Y'all, I'm not that old for him to say, like, you haven't met a black person in person. I think he was from Tracy. Maybe he's from Tracy, Colorado. I can't remember where they were from. But anyway, it was a part of Colorado and going to university. And he would say, this is the first time I've met a black person in person. Everywhere else he's seen a black person, it's been on television. Same thing with Will and Grace. He had not met a person who was gay before, except on watching Will and Grace back in the day. And so what we do is so important. So I'm just here to say, no, I'm not trying to trivialize everything that's going on. I'm not trying to be dismissive about everything that's going on, but we do not stop taping. We do not stop showing up. We do not stop putting those self-tapes out there, because we're not just here to entertain. We're here to reveal. This isn't only about our dreams. This isn't only about our dreams. This is so much bigger than just us. There are places still to this day where people have not seen diversity. I'm telling you, this is bigger than us. And even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, we must keep creating. We've got to keep creating, because that's what we do. Oh, I love what we get to do. I love it. I love it so much. I love being an actor. All right. Not a political pocket. That wasn't political. That was like a pep talk. That was like a D12 shot before the D12 shot. And you know my D12 shot is going to be good too then. But I just want to say that I really mean all of this. What we do is important. You know, it is really, really, really important. So yes, I know it can feel like it doesn't matter. Yes, I know it can feel like, what are we doing any of this for when everything's burning? It's because it is important. It is what we do is important. All right. Let's get into this episode with Tony Rodriguez. Today's episode is brought to you by Casting Networks. Casting Networks helps performers find great roles and industry professionals find great talent. You can create a profile, upload your photos and reels, find an agent, and submit to thousands of projects. Your next role could be just a few clicks away. So for a limited time, Casting Networks is offering our listeners $65 off a premium annual membership when you use the code ThinkBigger at checkout. You can start submitting to casting calls right away. Terms and conditions apply. So visit www.castingnetworks.com/promo-codes to learn more. Okay. Enough of that. Tony Rodriguez, he is an actor, a writer, and like I said earlier, the voice of the Simpsons' first gay Cuban character. And, he joins me today to talk about, taking creative risk, breaking down barriers, and like I teased a little bit earlier, and how one self-tape he posted for fun led to the role of a lifetime. Look, I'm just going to tell you, this is what happens when you stop waiting for permission and just put the damn tape down. Meaning, like, you just lay it down. Just do your best on the tape. Just do it. Stop looking for permission. Stop looking for validation. Stop looking for all those things. Okay, I'm going to be quiet so you can get into Tony because I love this talk. It is so good. And don't forget to stick around at the end for the D12 shot where I bring it all together. Tony Rodriguez, what's going on?
Hello. How are you, old friend?
Wait. Friend who we've known a long time. We're not old, although we're getting old now, Tony. We're getting old now.
Okay, this was fun. I'll talk to you later.
This was fun. Get out of here. Tony has, it's so interesting. There's so much I want to talk to you about, but like, right now, this is Pride Month that this is releasing, and I thought it would be really fun to have you on for Pride Month. But more importantly, because you've known me for so long, and so
what? That what you want me? That's what I'm on here for.
Yeah.
Old stories from school, literal school.
But we're gonna get to Julia. We're gonna get to all this stuff. We're gonna get to cock and bull and all that stuff like that. We're gonna get to all that stuff, all the fancy stuff. But I think I want to know, and I want my listeners to know, just how was DaJuan Johnson back in University of Florida? Because I don't know. We've never talked about your perception of me back then.
Wow, you could have just asked me. You didn't have to bring me onto your show to get this out of me.
Oh my God!
You were like. My memory of you.
Yes, please.
Are going to say what years this is we're talking about?
No, we're going to say year. We're just going to say because we probably met when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. That was my 4 years in college.
All right, but you don't want to say what
we don't need to say
in history.
Tony's. Wait, before we do, paint the picture. Were you a year ahead of me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm such a bitch, you all. I just want to make sure everybody knows.
I'm older than you. My memory of you is like very shy and withdrawn. I remember that's my image of you. And like your eyes, like you'd be taking everything in. You sort of be like the silent type that's sort of watching and But you seem like I remember you being sweet. Yeah, you've really grown and changed.
Thank you. That's really good. Tony, I will say since you didn't ask and it's my podcast, I'm going to say this, that my memory of you is that you have always been very confident about who you are. And I know, right? And
wow.
You've always been who you are from this moment in time right now that we have on this podcast to that guy that I remember. in college, and I have to be like that guy you're talking about who was just like very quiet and very like taking it all in. Like I was just not very confident in myself back then. I was not that guy, and everybody around me, whether it was gay, straight, like bi, everybody in that theater department seemed like they were just like on like 100. They just knew who they were, and they were like stars, and I was just like this new guy who had snuck into theater. My mom didn't know that I was supposed to be studying English. That was my
I was studying English.
right.
English. I was studying English, religion, and film. And then
Yeah.
one day I wandered into the theater department, and here we are.
Right here we are. I secretly just did it, and so it was just I got a BA in English and a BA in theater. So I have dual
Wow.
because I didn't want my mom not to know that I didn't do that, and so you all just seemed so confident in everything that you did there, and I was just in awe of it. I was not in awe. I was in awe of you.
Wow. I didn't know that. Well, since this is Pride Month,
Yeah,
I don't remember you being out.
I was not out.
Okay. And by
This,
the time you met me, I already was out. So I wonder if that was part of what you saw as confidence. I came out in the theater.
oh, did you?
Like that's how, yeah, it
Yeah,
dragged
yeah.
it out of me. Yeah.
Dragged you out of missing it.
And
Listen,
maybe like I was like I felt like I was finding my people. And
yeah,
maybe that's
yeah.
maybe that came off as confidence. But maybe that's the queer story, right? When you find people that you gel
Yeah.
with. And not to say that everyone was queer or gay, obviously, because there were straight people there, gay coded straight people.
Name the straight people.
I'll tell after the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We'd be like, beep, beep.
No, exactly. We can't do not get us in trouble here. What I will say is I think everybody knew I was gay probably before I did, right? I mean, I knew. I don't want to say that. Everybody was comfortable with it before I was comfortable with it. That's a better way of saying that. And when I got there in my freshman year, Tony Mata,
Oh, yeah.
right? Tony
Oh,
Mata
yes.
did a musical, and I came in to sing on stage. You
Jesus
all
Christ
listen.
Superstar.
Right? The Jesus Christ Superstar. And I did my audition. Oh gosh, I can't believe I'm going to say this live, everybody. So I did my audition, and they said you had to sing I don't know, 16 bar a cappella song. And I literally sang Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Oh, my God.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty, and I literally did that. And it was like that
Wow.
and part of your world, and I just the only songs I had never known, like I had never known the whole words to that were like musical theater. And he called me back, and so I got called back for that. And
I have an idea why I called you
oh,
back.
yeah. Well, listen, I don't think I didn't get
Cute
into
little
Jesus
gay
Christ
boy,
Superstar.
let me bring him back.
Let me bring you back. So I didn't get into Jesus Christ Superstar, but guess what I did get into, which I might be missing this up, but I think we were also in together, Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Yes.
Right. And so I
Oh, my
did
God.
yes. And so I was in the chorus in the back singing Kiss of the Spider
I
Woman.
forgot about that.
And I
Wow.
think it was Michael Harrington. Were you in right? I'm just
And Aaron
remembering
Lake.
Aaron Lake
Hmm.
and Michael Harrington, or Levon was the Spider Woman.
Vaughn,
And
superstar, Broadway veteran now. Is she a
yes.
Tony nominee as well?
I mean, she should be.
At
If she's
least
not. Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
I think, everybody out there, I think this is an important, just like, like I said, it's Pride Month. I didn't really come out until my senior year there. So
Hmm.
my senior year when I was secretly dating one of the other theater boys.
Name them.
Shannon. I don't care. I'll name his name. It's out there.
You don't remember his name?
Shannon.
Oh, I didn't. I don't know this
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It was one of those things. Anyway, so we're moving on from that.
Yeah.
I will say that I will say this, I think the theater department and the theater people everywhere, they were my people. So, listen, I was speaking of gay characters that you've done.
Done a couple.
I am always been fascinated by the Julio story. And I
Oh.
have recently gone back for everybody that's listening. Tony plays Julio, or he voices the Julio character, the gay Cuban character on The Simpsons. And this used to be Hank Azarian's role. I mean, listen, when I was doing research on this, Hank Azarian did like 20 roles or more. Like,
More. He's brilliant. Truly,
yeah, and I was just like,
really
how did he
well.
keep all those characters, together and stuff like that? But so I only know a bit of the story. Maybe you can tell us the story about how you auditioned or how it came about with Julio? Because I just saw the video. I just saw your audition
my
video.
audition video.
I just saw your
my
audition
gosh.
video, and I was like, "So wait, so walk us through it.
Relic.
Walk us through this.
What'd you say?
Walk us through this because was there an audition or did you just
No,
just
I
walk
did
us through
have an audition after. Yeah. So, height of pandemic, lockdown. I used to do videos in drag, like a drag character, just for fun, just
Yeah.
for like my comedy friends,
Yeah.
because I was losing my mind. A dear friend of mine named Drew Mackey, he has a podcast called Gayest Episode Ever, in which he talks about like the gay themed episodes of special sitcoms. He was doing a supercut of every gay joke in the history of The Simpsons. It ended up being like 2 hours long at that time.
Well,
And over 20 years ago, a character named Julio had appeared on the show. Hank Azaria voiced it.
it was Marge hairdresser, by the way.
Marge's
Okay.
hairdresser, yeah, among other things. I've told this story a few times by this point, but I always add this part, and I want to stress why. So the voice that Hank Azaria was doing for Julio on The Simpsons is similar to the voice he was doing in the movie The Birdcage as Agador Spartacus.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because I love The Birdcage. I think it still holds up in some ways. And Hank
Yeah.
Azaria is so incredible in that. And he's like a gay Latino in that. And I feel like I've been imitating that voice since forever.
Yeah.
Since The Birdcage. This character is similar. He has said he based it on like a grandmother of his who spoke like 12 languages or something. And that was his inspiration. Anyway, when my friend Drew is cutting the video, we're like, I could do this voice. I'm like, yeah, I absolutely could do this voice. So we're like, well, when he puts his video out, I'll put a video out as me as the character, the video that you say you just saw.
Yeah.
And I was doing it in the spirit of my drag character. Like I thought, oh, maybe some comedy people will see it and maybe I'll get a Zoom show out of it.
Yeah. Right.
That's all I thought.
Right.
Anyway,
So what did you do with the video? So wait, you did the video, and these are not audition sides that I saw, right? These are just like because it was like
No, I just wrote a few
you're
jokes.
dusting the and I was just like, so wait, that was just you improvising, doing this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
I
what happens?
improvised.
What happens with the video?
So we both put the video out at the same time. And the showrunner of The Simpsons saw both of them. And like fans of The Simpsons, I also was like lockdown pandemic, so people were online a lot.
Yeah.
So it got shared a bunch. And I think it ping-ponged so that the supercut video and my video sort of like started bouncing, eyeballs. So the
In
showrunner...
the zeitgeist, yeah.
Yeah. I did not know this. They had been looking to replace that character.
Wow.
They had at that point, I know this now, auditioned like 500 people.
Oh wow.
500 people. So the showrunner goes to the writer's room, is like, has anyone ever heard of this guy, Tony Rodriguez? And someone I used to perform with in New York at the Upright Citizens Brigade had just become a writer and a producer.
man.
And her first episode had this character.
Yeah.
And she said, yes, he's great. So I actually got an actual audition, like where you record sides, and I knew the episode. And they gave me notes, and I did it. And the following week, I was recording my first episode, which was a
Wow.
test. And I didn't know if I had actually gotten the part until it aired with me in it.
Yeah.
So putting out the video, I was recording within a week.
Yeah.
And then the episode aired within 2 or 3 months because it had mostly been animated. And then that's it. I'm part of this television show.
That's been on for forever. Like it's,
yeah.
I mean, since we were tiny humans. But the alignment there, which is so beautiful, of you putting that out into the world, like you deciding to put that out in the world and not waiting, is really what I think is the catalyst of all this. You know what I mean? Because you literally could have just been like, I mean, how many times have we said, oh, I can play that, or I can do that guy, or I can, I literally was in the theater last week watching Mission Impossible, and I was like, I can do that stunt. Literally hanging
You
from
can
a plane.
do the biplane for that scene is spoiler, 20 minutes. He's
It's
hanging
the
on that
longest scene ever. And
plane.
listen,
It's so much
I'm not-
fun to watch.
It's fun to watch, but it's also like okay. Anyway, and so that I was thinking,
I'm sorry, you could do Tom Cruise's stunts in Mission Impossible.
I mean, if he gave me the opportunity, I could totally do.
well, DaJuan, what you just tell me? You have to create your own opportunities. So fund your own.
Do you want me to like rent a plane, Tony?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing your words back at you.
The point of that is I really, really enjoy the fact that, like this is mindset podcast. Like you're joking about it that you were in lockdown and you just wanted to do some, but like you could have been in lockdown and you could have like done nothing. You could have just watched TV. You could have like binged movies or binged The Simpsons, but
I
instead,
mean, I did also do that.
yes, but you also put into action. And I think one of the big things is that, what I like to say is action, Tony. Like mindset is one thing, but action is action. And the fact whether you're doing drag characters or whether you're doing, putting the Simpsons out there, this story, this audition, I think is pretty amazing. And I don't remember you being so bold and brave, but
I mean, I don't either.
no,
I don't know. I don't recognize the person you're describing.
No,
But
no,
no, I did. I mean, I know what you're saying. It was but I also wasn't putting. I didn't think that anyone would see it. That I thought for me it was just a fun thing, a creative thing to do, and to put it out there because I did think it was like I could totally do this.
Yeah,
So I don't know, but
well, that's even. Listen, I'm not trying to make this into some more than it is, but that's even something better, right? Like if you're putting stuff out there for your own edification and you're putting it out there to make your friends laugh. Issa Rae says this all the time. I just write stuff so that my friends like my friends group will laugh at, and then other people like laugh at it too. Which is really interesting. And I think, and this is the key point I want to get at really quickly, is that a lot of people do stuff with the end goal of only getting it seen by the right people. If this is not going to get seen, I'm not going to do it. What I'm trying to get at is you put it out there, and like I just put it out there so that people will laugh, or my friend I didn't know it was going to go anywhere, and that is the energy that your efforts are riding on are different, is what I'm trying to say there. And that's a lot of actors. A lot of actors don't want to do extra self tapes, or they don't want to do extra. I know, or put stuff out there because if it's not going to get seen, if they don't have a guarantee that this is going to get seen, why to do that? And so I just take your flowers here, man. Just take your flowers. Like,
thank you for the flowers. I'll put them along next to my.
You all, Tony. Oh wow, look at that. Let me see that. Wait. You all, if you're
with props for this.
Wait, you all, if you're not looking at this on YouTube, Tony just flashed. What was that? What did it just say?
An Emmy certificate. I still don't know what it means. I don't know what it means, but I fucking framed it.
Well, because the Simpsons are Emmy nominated, right?
Emmy. This one was
Emmy winning.
They're nominated. Year was when they won. We won.
We won.
2023.
Well, you can't. Well, you can say we won.
We won. We won an Emmy.
So Tony's like, look, I don't have an actual statue, so I'm not like. This is amazing. So you're Emmy winning, Tony Rodriguez.
Okay, I'm gonna change my resume as soon as we're done to add that.
Well, why wouldn't you though? Why wouldn't you?
Because
flash it again for us. Flash it again for us. Let me just see it.
Oh, fine. For you.
Flash it again. This is so good.
I don't usually have it here. I have it so it shines in the sun.
Okay, it says. Okay, move it over a little bit so I can read it. It says for contributions to the Emmy Award-winning program, Outstanding Animated Program, Tony Rodriguez. So literally, The Simpsons, the year they won, you were on that show that year, and you are part of the Emmy. You got an Emmy.
Yes.
Even I did an Emmy campaign, man, like for Grey's Anatomy over there. I don't want to take it down because it's like I don't know how to get it back. Okay, I'll take it down.
Okay, good. I want to see it.
Looking at this, I know the thing fell down. Now see what I did. But if you look at that was my Emmy campaign for outstanding. Yeah.
Let me add. This might be gross to ask. Yeah. Who financed that campaign? Did you do it yourself?
I did it myself. I did it myself. And I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you the whole thing about it. Hold on. Let me put this away.
That's great, man.
So I did it. I started it myself, right? I started it myself because I wanted to
win an Emmy.
Win an Emmy, and it was for guest star, and it was one of my favorite roles, on for ABC that I did for Grey's Anatomy. But then once I like put my hat in the ring, ABC came in and picked it up and put me on their publicity stuff. And so
Yes.
when you open the book for like Grey's Anatomy, it's like outstanding guest stars, and it's like Debbie Allen, DaJuan Johnson. I was like and I
Oh
was like,
my God.
so it became something again that I just started. Like you're saying, I was like, great, I'm going to put my hat in the ring for this. My friend Christine Horan, she's like, you should, nominate yourself or put yourself out there. And then I did. And then ABC picked it up. And then I got on ABC's, all their stuff, their campaign. So backed by ABC, Emmy campaign. So it was good. I didn't win. This Is Us won that year. I'm a little bit.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it was a big year for that. So, okay. All right. All right. So I love that you stole a role from Hank. And
He's
because
still working. I just lightened his workload.
I
That's
mean,
it.
what I think I really am making this number up, and I think he said he's had voiced like over 80 or 90 roles. Like
Easily.
he's like they were,
Easily.
and look, I don't want to get too far into it, but I think he was saying something like he was like, I meant to give over like one of the black characters or one of the other characters. He had played so many different parts. And I think that was really awesome of Hank. I
Yes.
think that was really awesome of him. He was kind of like, I don't need to do all these roles. And he opened it up for more people. So it was just great. So like now that you're on The Simpsons, you've been on The Simpsons for a couple seasons now, right?
Yeah. This is my sixth season now.
This is your
Or
sixth
coming up.
season.
Yeah, yeah.
Sixth season. And so you're
Wow.
probably, everybody thinks you're probably like living in a mansion.
No, because I'm only doing a few episodes a season. I
So you're living in a mini mansion? Like,
Yes. You know what? What's it called? Yes, I'm.
yes,
Yes, I
and
live in a mansion.
yes, and all that stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that it's important because everybody thinks that like once you hit something big like that, then the world is like now you're making millions of dollars. Like when I did Bosch for 7 years, my family was like, "Can I get some of that Hollywood money?" I was like, "What Hollywood money are you describing?"
Mm-hmm.
So you're not making millions of dollars from the Simpsons right now yet.
No,
Have you? So are you making
I'm not
thousands?
making millions of dollars. No.
Tony, I don't remember you doing so many voiceover characters. I mean, you're in so much. Like you're doing so many. When did that
Yeah.
come about?
When did that come about?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been doing characters for years, decades. I love doing it so much. And I've been chasing voiceovers for so long, and I could never get until The Simpsons. And that,
Yeah.
of course, has opened doors to things. I'll tell you privately something off record.
You
But
all like, should we have like a behind the scenes podcast? Because there's a lot of off record stuff we have to catch up on. It
yeah,
sounds like.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But when, I don't know, I'll say this. I had been chasing Oscars. I had been chasing,
Oh, now,
okay,
he
that's
won't talk
next.
about an Emmy, you all, but he'll tell you he's been chasing Oscars.
How do I get an Oscar certificate?
Yeah, yeah.
No statues.
Yes.
I just want the papers.
I just want the paper.
I've been chasing voiceovers for so long. I've loved animation my whole life. I wanted to do animation, but I can't really draw, or I
Okay.
don't. But anyway, when I got The Simpsons, I looked back at my old emails and I had been asking my reps for years, like, can you can you get me a voiceover agent? Can we submit to The Simpsons because of that character? It had been on my radar for years. I fired everybody after I got because they didn't do anything. Anything.
Wow.
I can say that on the record.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, well, we don't. I don't like to use the word fired. I like we parted ways, but like I
I
think that
fired.
well, that's good because I think it's important that like you're
I
saying.
cleaned house.
So because this is good because a lot of people always are talking about like how long do you stay with an agent? How long do you know when to leave? This is a clear and cut decision here. Like this is a why couldn't they get you in for
Or
something?
even try. I would like when I look back the email when I would ask, it would just go unanswered. So that was my answer at
Yeah.
that point.
So then tell me about since The Simpsons, what has been getting a new team like? And then are they the reason you've been so active and nope? Okay, talk to me.
Uh,
This is so interesting because like I
uh,
think a lot of people think like once you hit one show
no.
again, like it snowballs, and this is important. Go ahead, tell me more.
I will say The Simpsons has open doors for creative projects because it's a very cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody doesn't have not know about The Simpsons. So
Mhm.
it has gotten me other voiceover work. It's gotten me on-screen work, movies and television. But I feel like so much of my work and a lot of the people I know, especially in the comedy community, you can probably speak to this as well, is people you know or have some connection to. It's so rare for me to book a job through a represent to book a job through an agent or a manager for a show that you have no connection to, that you've never met anyone, you don't know anyone on the show.
Yeah.
It is kind of a fluke. Like even The Simpsons, I had some connection, even though I didn't know it at the time. Um, I'm trying to like I did book a movie that was an offer because
Mhm.
of people that had seen my work, and they had worked with people that have worked with me. Like even that, it wasn't completely out of the blue, but it also makes sense. People kind of want to work with people they know or have a reputation or come recommended. I don't
Yeah.
know. Keep making your own opportunities, even if you have representation. You have
Wow.
to.
Agreed. But first of all, I think that is something that is not just voiceover, it's theatrical, whatever.
A
I think
thousand
one of the
percent.
things that people think as soon as you get an agent or a manager, then you can just sit back. I don't
It
believe that.
helps. It
It definitely
helps.
helps. Yeah. It does help, but it's not the now I get to kick back and they're going to do all the work. I think you still need to be out there creating all the opportunities and also doing some of the stuff. Like, I want to talk about like you have been doing improv since I've like known you. Like, that's like, I do remember all of that. But I want to just harp on this agent situation, this representation situation for a little bit. So, I mean, you're with one of the biggest voiceover people in town right now. So that was not a
I do
seamless,
love them. They do. I mean, they put me out for so much. I am very grateful.
but that was not a transition after that. That wasn't somebody you found
I
that
found that after The Simpsons. That was after The Simpsons. I made some
that was your
calls.
catalyst,
Yeah, that
your
was
tool.
my catalyst.
Okay, okay, okay.
So yeah, I'm with them. Yeah, they're great.
So basically, you're saying relationships matter in this town.
Relationships matter.
Hey, it's DaJuan, and I want to talk to you actor to actor. If you've been grinding, auditioning, taping, and still wondering when it's finally going to click, I created something for you. It's called the Booked and Busy Actors Retreat, and it's happening August 22nd through August 24th right here in Los Angeles. And this isn't just another event, it's a reset. 3 days in person here in Los Angeles. And the room, it's going to be filled with casting directors, agents, working series regulars, and actors like you who are done playing small. You could be one of the actors who gets their self-tapes reviewed live. You could be one of the actors sitting across from reps in a mock meeting. And no matter what, you'll be creating, connecting, and walking away with a roadmap that's built around the work you put in that weekend. No more DMs into the void. No more wondering if they saw your tape. No more feeling like you're doing this all alone. And let me tell you, last year, actors called this retreat transformational, generous, the most real actor experience they ever attended. And this year, we're going to go even deeper. We'll work on mindset, sharpening your craft, and making sure that you walk back into this industry, you do it with confidence, clarity, and a circle that has your back. This is where you stop waiting to be picked and start showing up all like you already booked it. So go to www.bookedandbusyactorsretreat.com to claim your seat. Again, that's www.bookedandbusyactorsretreat.com. Seats are intentionally limited, so if this sounds like your next move, trust that feeling. I'll see you there.
I'm gonna say, I feel so lucky that I'm part of a comedy community. I do shows at Upright Citizens Brigade and now Dynasty Typewriter, I love
Yes.
that theater so
Which we're
much.
going to talk about in a second. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially for me, especially in the comedy world, it feels like that no two people can do the same thing. Like everyone has their own voice, their own skills. And I feel like it makes, to my eyes, I'm like, oh, everyone has something to bring. And when you work together, especially in improv, you're sort of collaborating and all that. When you're saying about relationships matter and it matters who you know, that can to me sound a little ugh. Like,
Trust
but
me, for 20 plus years, I was like, that can't be right. But now I'm like, oh,
but
a
it
lot of
can be a genuine thing. It can be. I mean, we're saying it in a very clinical way, sort of clinical way, but it does. Or excuse me, like not to look at it like, oh, you're only going to get ahead if you talk to certain people if you know
I
certain
wish I
people.
had slept with more people. If you're asking that, I wish I had slept with more people in my the beginning years.
Girl,
Sorry, I'm
same,
joking,
girl,
everybody. You
same.
cannot see.
Oh, we honestly,
Keep
I
going.
would
Keep
might
going.
be in that other mansion if.
Could have got to the Simpsons faster. I'm joking, sort of on
I'll tell.
that.
I guess I'll tell you others
Yeah,
more stories. The
we
list
have to
grows
move.
for things I'm going to tell you
He's
offline.
not going to remember any of this, you. He's not going to remember any of this.
Oh no,
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 I think what you're
no.
saying, it can sound very icky, and it does sound that. And I just say that if you look at, like, when we were growing up, there was always like the Adam Sandler clique that always were on TV. I'm sorry, all did films together, or the Ben Stillers people who always did a lot of stuff, or Joss Whedon, like those people who do their stuff. That Tina Fey, she's always gonna have Amy Poehler. It's like those things are the people are working with, and that's because that's their group of people. Like, and it's not something that's like, oh, this is bad. It's something that's been going on in every other industry for decades, for centuries. People hire people in corporate America. So it's really no different here. I'm just saying what I have started to realize in my last, I would say, 5 to 7 to 10 years is that people work with people they know. They
Yeah.
want to bring on good people they know. And so,
Or at
whether I know
least a recommendation from someone they
good.
know for this other person.
Yeah. And so you got to put yourself out there. It could be a casting director that or it could be a producer or a director and stuff like that. And so I just think it's really it sounds sleazy, but it's not as like gross as it sounds. It is more of like legacy. Like, you just know people. That's all it really is.
Legacy. I like that word.
Well, because I think it really is that. And I remember when I first started Bosch, Titus would bring on people that he knew. There were, of course, new people that are auditioning. I got on
How
it.
did you get Bosch? You got through an audition?
I got through an
That,
audition. I
and they
got through
didn't
an
know
audition.
you. You didn't have any connection to the show.
I did not have any connection to the show, but remember, I came on that show as a one-day co-star.
Mm-hmm.
As a one day, I was just coming in to, say something with Titus, do this thing, and then leave. And from my acting, I got to do more, they said. Right.
Yes.
That was different. And so it wasn't like they were taking a big chance on me. I literally was going to be there for one day. I was uniform officer number one. And then I
Wow.
asked for a name. And then when they came back and they said, Officer Rondell Pierce, I thought they were fucking with me. I was like, who do we know named Rondell? Like, and then, the whole thing. So but I guess what I want to say is sometimes your body of work starts to speak for you as well. Let you do a lot of the lifting. And that's, I think, one of the things that happens with me. And I do a lot of 1 hour. And so I have a body of work now that I'm really proud of, that people can like, oh yeah, that was a guy from Bosch, or that's a guy from NCIS, or that's a guy, and so that work now gets me in more doors than, people, because I know people now and my work. So
Mm-hmm.
both of those things. Speaking of that body of work, as we transition to Dynasty Typewriter,
Oh,
Dynasty Typewriter is, you got to tell us, what is Dynasty Typewriter?
it's a comedy theater in LA that I love it because it feels like they curate shows that are like quality, they're experimental, they're fun. They're not a comedy theater that's associated with a school, let's say like Upright Citizens Brigade or Groundlings. They have all kinds of shows. They have improv. I just did a drag soap opera last night. I'm getting to do a soap opera reading. They're comedy. These are comedy
Yeah.
soap operas.
Yeah, I love it.
I've done a drag musical parody of The Real Housewives there.
Yeah.
It's really, 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 really fun. I love it so much. The audiences are great. I feel so lucky. Like, I feel
You
like I just did a show last night and I'm like, it's going to carry me for days. Like,
That's
oh
good.
my God.
Yeah.
It's just so fun to perform comedy and be.
You're doing, one of the females in that is from the Righteous Gemstones.
Edie Patterson.
Yes.
I love her so much. She is so sweet. I can't tell you. Like, I think she's so brilliant on The Righteous Gemstones. She's
Yes.
so much fun. And she's so much fun when she does the soap opera shows I get to do with her.
Yeah.
But she's just so sweet. And
She's
I'm like,
amazing.
and I know, oh gosh, what we were just talking about. It's almost like this person's so great. They're very talented and they're so fun and nice. Like, this makes sense. I would want to hire you. I would
Yeah.
absolutely hire her when I'm in a position to hire.
And you have another person who's in there who I have a connection with, who is Patrick Fischler.
Oh, oh, what's your connection? Wow.
Patrick and I, do you know Patrick?
Yes. I mean, from the show.
From the show. So Patrick and I are in NCIS Origins together. And
Oh.
Patrick and I cannot tell that storyline yet, but because I'll get in trouble. But the last thing that they said on the finale, it kind of alluded to, is there a relationship between us or not?
Me as a new fan, I want to see them together.
You want to see that again? Wait, a
I can
new
say it,
fan
right?
as of now. As of
Mhm.
so no, so that is he is I work in for the FBI and he works for the
Drool,
NCIS.
drool.
I know, and so it's very interesting. So anyway, the point of that is like I didn't know he did comedy. I mean, because I've seen him on like oh gosh, the magical Disney show, Once Upon a Time. You know what I
Oh.
mean? Once Upon a Time, and I've seen him everywhere. He's everywhere. But like that is like that's you're working with so many awesome people. You are the awesome person.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take it. It's your
Yeah,
show. I'll
it's my
take the
show.
flowers. Thank you.
Do you want
And
to
the
show your
certificates.
you want to show your certificate again?
Yeah, see, yeah.
So anybody trying to break into comedy, what do you think? Like, is that something a route they go? Because you've been in Upright Citizens Brigade, you're doing Dynasty Typewriter, you got a new show called Cock and Bull 4
Oh
coming.
yeah.
Would you
Um,
go that route?
would I go?
The route of improv? Like
Yes,
if
I
you
will say I have done every kind of comedy, live comedy there is except for stand up. So I could speak to anything else but stand up. I think it is something I'd want to try at some point. I've done stand up as a character, but never myself.
yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
quite say that that's the same. But I absolutely would say someone who wants to do comedy, if you're lucky enough to be in a large city like Chicago or New York or LA that has, I think a lot of cities have comedy communities. If it's improv, comedy clubs, find your people.
Yeah.
Find your people. And then I guess since Pride Month, that goes for that as well. Whether
I
it's comedy and or queer people,
yeah,
find
find
them.
them. Find them. Yeah.
Um, and just do it. That's I feel like you take all the acting classes in the world and that might help you, but I think for me that it's the experience. And maybe the acting class is the experience. Maybe
Yeah.
the improv class is the experience, but doing shows is where I feel like I've learned.
Right.
Or at
Right.
least I've found my voice. And I know what I think is funny or what I would thank God sometimes other people think they're funny. I'm funny, but
I think you're pretty funny, Donnie. I think you're funny. Comedy does scare me just a little bit, and it
why?
doesn't seem to scare. Well, because I've just done a lot of
Drama.
dramas, like which I know I can find the funny in dramas, the dramedy. I can do that as
Mhm.
well. I can find the funny in comedy too, but like you're just like effortless. It has always been that way. And so, do you teach a class? Maybe you can teach a class.
I do teach sometimes. I substitute. I like sub for. I sub for an SNL alum who teaches a character comedy class, but I'm like his go-to when he misses
Oh,
class.
out
What?
in the Santa Monica.
No, here in UCB.
Okay, we used to be okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to quit, Tony?
Yes. I
Really?
have wanted to quit. In fact, I went to New York to do theater, and I was gonna be an actor
Hmm.
like you. I wanted to be in the actor studio. Um, and I was pursuing
Out of college?
Out of college, yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were
Uh,
gone for a little bit.
Huh?
You weren't in Los Angeles for a little bit. You were gone, so that makes
Yeah, I
sense.
was in New York for like 12 years.
Okay.
Fall of September of 2001
Yeah.
in New York.
Yeah.
I think after that, I really fell into like a depression for a few years. I feel
Yeah.
like I was just living. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And then discovered the Upright Citizens Brigade. And when I discovered comedy, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And I feel like generally I haven't looked back since then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it's that thing of like a convert to a religion or something. They're like, oh, they got fire in them. But I guess it takes quitting something and then maybe coming back to it to give you
Yeah.
more energy. But since then, yeah, I've thought about quitting a bunch of times. I mean, The Simpsons is a spiritual life raft for me as well. as
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I do think about, I mean, this industry and the times we're in, I guess more than ever I'm leaning, I don't think I'm answering your question, but more than ever I'm leaning into like things that bring me joy. And that part of that is like performing and
Right.
people I
Yeah.
like.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What times we're in?
These political times in America in 2025.
Ah, yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't know if you meant political times. That's why I wanted to expand on it. Like if you
Oh,
meant,
yeah, I do.
well, if you meant political times, or if you meant like the industry was slow or something
But
like
that
that.
as well.
Well, but I asked you, what did you mean? And you
No, I meant both. The
just,
times of the industry and the
yes,
American
and
political climate.
all of the things.
Yes,
Well,
and all the fuckery.
I think that's what we need more comedy. We need more. We need more of us. I don't think this might sound big of me, but I think that people need actors in their life. I think they need the humanity. I think they need the laughter. I think they need to like escape a little bit from what we do here, and I think it's important. And so I think we're important. We're important. Tony, thank you so much for coming on and shedding light
We
on
didn't
young.
gossip at all, really.
No, we didn't, but that's good. Like, I mean, like this is a podcast about mindset and like, like sticking with it and stuff like that.
Do you
This is
have another podcast where we can gossip?
we can go gossip.
Because we have a lot of friends in common.
We do have a lot of friends in common. We sure do. Tony, thank you for coming on the Think Bigger Actors
Thank you for
podcast.
having me on. This is a treat.
This is a treat. Oh my God, I can't wait to, see what everybody says about this one.
Oh boy.
I told you it was going to be good. I told you that was going to be a nice talk here. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you stopped waiting to be picked and just put yourself in the game? Because that's what Tony did. He didn't sit around hoping the Simpsons would somehow figure out that a queer Cuban actor should voice a queer Cuban character. He made a tape. Let me say it again. He made a tape, unprompted, uninvited, unbothered. He said, here's me, here's the voice, here's what it could sound like, and he put it out there. That wasn't ego, that was clarity. Tony knew he could bring something real and authentic to that role, and instead of praying for the opportunity, he created proof. And guess what? It worked. Because when you stop waiting to be discovered, when you stop assuming that they already know you exist and you show them, that's when doors swing open. Producers, agents, directors, casting directors are not looking for you on your couch. I don't know who told you that. They are not looking for you on your couch. They're just not. I know it's comfortable there. I know it's safe there, but the couch confidence isn't going to get you seen. And if you're waiting for that guarantee that if you put something out there, it will hit, someone will see it. There isn't one. There isn't any guarantees in this business. But what I know for sure is if you do nothing, you will get nothing. The Simpsons didn't come calling because Tony was lucky. They came calling because he gave them a reason to. That's your D12 shot for today. That is the whole D12 shot. Stop waiting for someone to connect the dots. Stop thinking being talented is enough. Stop hiding behind the idea that if it's meant to be, it will be. Stop that. Sometimes it's meant to be, but only if you move. Let me say that one more time because that felt good in my spirit. Sometimes it is meant to be, but only if you move first. So put your damn tape out there. Tell the world who you are. Make the case for yourself before anyone else does. And don't worry if it takes a minute. The right people will catch up. You know the drill. Don't quit. Don't get out of line. Borrow my faith in you. And above all else, hold the vision, not the circumstance. I feel so honored that I get to be in your ear. I feel so honored that you keep coming back in and listening to this podcast. I feel so completely honored. This is just like you, and you're sharing it with people. People are like, "Oh yeah, I got this podcast," and it's just so good. I'm just so honored. that it keeps getting and touching people in all these different places. And I hope you'll join me out here in Los Angeles, for our retreat. But if not, please keep sharing the podcast. Please keep DMing me and telling me how great the episode is. I see you. I'm so proud and I'm so excited about this. This is one of my favorite things to do in my entire business is this Think Bigger Actors podcast because of you. I love you so big.